arrangement and to take your questions and concerns. By the end of June the 16th, the newly reported local cases were 31, 3 suspected cases, and 6 asymptomatic carriers. By the same time, on June the 16th, the cumulative local cases were 557 cases, and 441 are still in hospital, and the total deaths are in the number of 9. Asymptomatic carriers still under observation stand at the number of 12. Xinfadi wholesale market has been the source place of these new epidemic cases, and Beijing has totally reported 137 cases ever since the new outbreak. So we're in a severe situation. We have to implement General Secretary Xi Jinping's instructions to prioritize epidemic control right now. We must work in the front line of epidemic control so that the safety and health of our common people could be safeguarded. On June the 16th, the emergency response level has been escalated to level 2 from level 3. We have to prevent imported cases and the spread of local cases. We must have instant discovery, quick action, and efficient treatment and rescue. We must conform to the 9 stringent measures and take the most decisive and stringent policies to scientifically, precisely work on the epidemic control and prevention to cut the spread of the epidemic through different channels. For anyone who has close contacts with the staff members or other people in Xinfadi wholesale market, we must do the screening through nucleic acid testing and have some quarantine measures like stay-at-home distancing. For some key places, we must have disinfection measures and nucleic acid testing. All the communities must be closed off. For the key places and regions and the vulnerable groups, we must have a wide coverage of testing. For the hospitals, schools, the nursery homes, we must escalate the prevention level. And for the key personnel, we forbid them to leave Beijing to avoid any spreading of the Beijing epidemic to elsewhere. Today, we have invited some key staff members from Beijing Education Commission to give us some updates. Today with us, we have Deputy Secretary General Li Yi from Beijing Municipality Educational Circle. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Li to brief us about how does Beijing's Educational Circle to respond to the emergency level escalation. Dear media friends, it's good to see you. Yesterday, the leading group of Beijing Municipality Epidemic Control and Prevention gave new instructions, and we have made such arrangements accordingly on the same day. By today, the primary and secondary school kids have been quarantined in their homes, and we isolate every kid by put them at home. We carry out our courses through online courses, and we have some online questions and answers sessions starting from today. Now, according to the arrangement, different measures have been in execution. The different schools in Beijing have been actively responding to those policies, stringently implementing those requirements. Now, I would love to brief you about the requirements of the measures. Firstly, the educational arrangement for the primary schools and secondary schools. We must carry out online education and make scientific arrangement for the courses. Different schools must have their own policies. They must have their scientific arrangement for stay-at-home courses so that the courses could be taken regularly. By 8 o'clock this morning, many schools have already kicked off the online courses. We must ensure that online courses and offline courses are combined together in an orderly basis, adding no pressure to the kids. And the teachers must be the guide for the questions and answers and management of their homework. They are the guide. For now, the teachers are already experienced in that regard. That's why we have been taking measures overnight. For the different grades, they must diversify their plans, particularly for the kids ready to take the examinations of 中考 and 高考 through Q&A online sessions. We must also take customized measures and personalized measures. We categorize the students into different groups to improve the efficiency of our education. Secondly, the staff members of the schools must be on post. For example, online Q&A sessions, the teachers must be there. As to the forms and places of such responsibilities, it will be decided by different schools. The schools must instruct the teachers to do good psychological counseling for their kids. Through different channels of communication, the teachers must talk often with the kids. Through such communication, they could be informed about the mentality of those children under the epidemic influence. And the kids will be more positive in face of such a disaster. And also we need the help of the parents. The families must work together with the schools to pay close attention to the kids' mentality. We especially require different mentors and schools to prioritize the work on the part of the parents. Thirdly, the faculty management. We have daily reports about the health status of the staff members, for example, temperature check, particularly grade 3, and those family members living together with their pupils. We must get information about their close contacts, their suspect information, and so on. And those will be reported on a daily basis as well. For the grade 3 in primary schools and secondary schools, we require the faculties to stay alert and raise their standards of prevention and control and avoid any outing. We also emphasize exercises, regular rest, and a good diet. To build our health is the top priority. Fourthly, information sharing. Now, some districts haven't done the registry work of the educational sector, so if they do need some offline review work, they must fully consider the situation of their district epidemic. Yesterday, we already did such arrangement. Different districts must make their plans to orderly take up this task. For the other districts under the guidance, they are also taking certain efforts. Secondly, the arrangement for the higher learning educations in Beijing, particularly the spring semester. How should the kids get back to their campus? We will give reports about the scheduled return to schools. According to the arrangements, we will stop such return. we must kick off the plan about how to avoid the returning to schools of those children. For the graduates, we must also make certain arrangement about their leaving the campus. Secondly, for the weak links, according to the municipal arrangement, we will organize the different resources to screen the whole campus. Thirdly, wearing facial masks and disinfection and other material preparation on campuses. For the kindergartens, all of the kindergartens will be closed. And the kindergartens must keep up the daily management measures, particularly the dealing with those food sources. And for the offline courses, they must be stopped as well. Starting from today, we are paying attention to the information about the educational work in face of this epidemic. So there is a digital education website in Beijing. You could check such information over there. Previously, we have steadily returned to the campuses for more course taking, and the resources are now uploaded online, so we can continue such education with the new cases. We must organize the students to view those videos in turn, and there might be some demo courses. In addition, according to the arrangement, the schools can customize their online courses to complete their plans of education for this semester. So we can diversify our educational manners and channels. For example, the online Q&A session for the grade 3 in the high schools. After all, they are in the last phase of their high school, and it's critical for them to take Gaokao. On about May the 31st, we have taken over 1 billion questions, and the teachers have given answers to those questions. For the accounts and the passwords of that Q&A website, they have been shared with the kids of grade 3 in junior high schools and high schools. So, in line with the changes of the epidemic and to meet the requirements of online Q&A of the grade 3 students, we would try to help those students to personalize our educational resources when they are staying at home. And thirdly, assume responsibilities on different parts. We will take coordinated measures to guide the schools to implement the different standards and measures of epidemic prevention and control. For the different districts, they must also guide the schools in their districts of epidemic control. They must make a timely discovery of the problems and adjust their measures accordingly to guarantee the safety of the campuses. Thirdly, the responsibilities on the part of the schools and the faculties. For every student and the faculty members, we must have a regular temperature check. And for the leaders and management teams of the schools, they must be on post 24/7. So the faculties of the schools must shoulder their responsibilities of epidemic control. The individuals and the parents must also shoulder their responsibilities as well. They must coordinate with the schools and report their traveling histories, particularly for the parents. During this time, we encourage you to not take your children out, particularly the public spaces. Meanwhile, avoid cross-infection and outing. If you are residing together with the other family members, you must pay closer attention as well to all the family members, for example, wearing facial masks and avoid contacting with the others. If you do need to go out or travel elsewhere, you must take protective measures and also the quarantine measures. If you do have some signs, you must take quick action of quarantine or hospitalization, and you must report to the schools so that the schools will get the first-hand information and take coordinated measures of prevention and control. Before Zhongkao and Gaokao, the quarantine days will be 14 days. So, in that way, we can minimize cross-infection and the risks. Encouraging the kids to stay at home so that they would embrace the examination one day with the best mentality and health status. We do hope that the parents will work closely with us to guarantee the health conditions of the students. Later on, according to the actual situations, we will take other measures, for example, after the Zhongkao and Gaokao examinations. We will give you the instant information about any new updates. That's all on my part. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Secretary of Beijing Municipal Party Secretary Educational Commission, Mr. Li. And now the floor is open to questions. And before you raise the question, please identify yourself. I'm from Beijing Youth. Overnight, yesterday, many parents got the information of such changes in the educational circle. So, how to take over these new tasks on the part of the schools? That's a practical question. Yesterday, when the emergency level has been escalated, we instantly informed the parents yesterday night so that today the kids do not have to run to the schools anymore. Staying at home and studying at home will be safer. Of course, the stationaries have been still kept in their classrooms. Today, we will organize the schools and faculties to gather those resources and label them. After we organize all of those resources, like the stationaries, we will give them back to the students. Of course, in this process, many schools face difficulties. For example, the exercise and textbooks for the graduates. We will put them especially in some bags and invite the parents to get them back. We may also send them back through the expresses. How should the schools face the new situation? Education is one pillar of that whole plan, and the schools will do the handover of those stationaries. We will try our best to give them back to the students. Next question. Thank you. From CCTV. Now the students resort to the online courses again, so many parents are worrying. If the online courses continue, the quality may not be guaranteed. So what's your take on that? When we launched the online courses in the beginning, parents have been concerned about this. To be honest, there will be differences of online and offline courses. And we relaunch those courses again and encourage the students to take those online courses to complete this semester's plans. And now we are more mature on the part of faculties and the students. They have more resources at their hands. Of course, we are more experienced than 2 or 3 months ago. So I think this time for the students to get back online to take the courses, it's smoother. This morning, some of them have already started to take courses online. And now since we are approaching the end of this semester, there will be a lot of review work of the students. For example, we may give some open-ended homework to the students. We will also encourage the parents to help the students to do some offline homework and tasks. We don't encourage the students to keep watching the screen from morning till night. We have some principles: guidance online and offline activities. Going surfing online sometimes and mobilization is the key. Those are our 4 principles. So the spirit of independence and self-governance, self-learning abilities will be paramount for the students in such special situation. We don't encourage the kids to stay online all the time. Also, we have collective forces online. Online, they can build their own partners or their own study groups for more communication independently. They can submit their homework online easier. Those will be more efficient compared to the on-site education between the students and the teachers, and between the teachers and the parents. They can have more convenient communication, so we can maximize the stimulation and the mobilization of different resources. We want to stress that the presidents or the faculties of the schools must stay alert, that those online activities cannot be carried on throughout the whole day. Online and offline activities must complement each other to orderly accomplish their educational plans. The next question. From China News Service. Starting from July 11th, there should be the summer vacation, but now with the new cases of the epidemic, will there be any changes? And what about the plans of the next semester? Thank you for your questions. You actually ask the concerns and worries of many kids. As I said, online and offline educational activities will be combined together. and the summer vacation will stay the same. But in this summer vacation, it's more extraordinary, with the escalation of emergency response level. Many students will feel differently. Previously, we are looking forward to the summer vacation for more activities like swimming or excursion to the outskirts, but now maybe the students will have to change their plans for the summer vacation. We encourage everyone to safely take their time in the summer vacation, and the schools must give guidance to the students during the summer vacation as well. So, as I said, the summer vacation will be as usual, but the plans on the part of individuals will be different. As to the finals, the students will have to be reassured. We will fully take into consideration of the online courses and offline courses this year to give the finals. Even during the epidemic, from grade 1 to grade 3, we have actually accomplished the testing. We will accomplish the testing of the students in their full abilities through different channels. For example, the application of the knowledge. There will be online finals. For example, there will be a time limit for the online finals. Or you may choose to open a book when you're taking the finals. We will also give other diversified choices to the students. For example, writing an article or a paper. For the secondary schools, particularly, we will take into consideration of their progress made during this time to arrange the finals. We encourage the schools to test different channels of finals. Some schools are already on their way of the new forms of examinations. For example, they send out their tests to the students and encourage them to answer the questions online. Some others may give other choices like writing a report or investigation or a paper. Some others are in the forms of videos or audios. Those are all new options for the finals. In combination, those forms of testing will be fully enough to check the abilities of the students. So please be reassured. The finals will not add pressure, not more than before, but still you have to work hard and accomplish the tasks assigned by the teachers. You also ask about the measures taken by the schools. During the summer vacations, they will work on two fronts. They must be ready anytime. For example, summarize the experience made already for the online courses taken before, and also fill in the loopholes of the students for online course taking. So during this time, it's good enough for the teachers to reflect upon the past experience and to plan the next semester. So all in all, it is safe to say that in the educational circle, all of those faculties and leaders particularly have been taking comprehensive considerations about educational development. That's why we come up with emergency plans and diversified measures. Thank you for your questions. Next question. Beijing Daily. To return back to online education, we must pay special attention to the health status of the students. Do you have any recommendations? That's a general question, but you made a point. It's after all very important. To be honest, the escalation of the emergency response level and the kicking off of online courses will, of course, give some psychological influence to the students. We must pay higher attention to the mentality of the students for such changes. We are actually not just following the status of the students and the parents, but also the teachers working on the front line, the mentors in charge of different classes. They must also have good mentality to manage the changes. For that question, how should the students and the parents adjust themselves psychologically to this new change, or physically? Yesterday, before they went to bed, the kids may have already packed their school bags, but when they wake up this morning, they were told that they don't need to go to school anymore. Of course, that's a shock to them. We must give enough information to the students about the changes. For example, why we did such arrangement, why we escalate the level of emergency response, not just for grade 3 in junior high school and high school, but also other grades. And also we must invite the students to share with us about their feelings about the changes and their expectation of the future. Such communication is the key. For grade 3 students, this round of stay at home is more special for them. It's a test of their stamina and self-control. Some of them may be fearing or even at panic. So we ask our parents and our schools to offer help in order to dispel such a sense of worries and anxieties of those grade 3 students. They must actively seek the students or the kids for communication. They may be worrying about their study during the epidemic or their conditions in face of such disaster. We especially hope that the parents and the schools must tell their children that they must take a positive attitude towards this epidemic, even though their review work has been impacted a little bit by this epidemic. But such an influence is on every student, not just him or her, so they can try to improve their efficiency of study when they are staying at home. If we can do very good self-control, the efficiency might be even higher. After all, when they're taking the reviews in the end of each semester, more of those work will be about Q&A and individualized review. That's the same as the online courses. As to whether they should wear the facial masks for such communication, we will make more detailed measures and we will brief you about the updates. The target of every measure is to readjust the mentality of the parents and the students. Secondly, daily exercises. Even though the emergency response level is escalated and they are encouraged to stay at home, but physical exercise is a must-go choice. They must take effective measures to exercise their bodies regularly, and the teachers will also offer guidance for that regard. They must also communicate frequently with their neighbors to avoid any disturbances when doing those exercises. So our requirements for physical exercise previously will be sustained. Daily exercises may be one way out to fight against the epidemic. And finally, protecting the students' eyesight. Studying online will, to some degree, impair their eyesight. We must ensure that the kids will get enough sleep to protect their vision. And we must try to take different measures to flexibly exercise their vision. For example, looking afar into the distance. And also do some eye protection exercises. So that's our ways of protecting the students' mentality and physical health. Next question. From news agency. For the escalation of emergency response level, will there be any readjustments? Yesterday, when we announced the new arrangement about studying at home, that question has been raised a lot by the parents and the students. The time has not been readjusted. But with the escalation of this epidemic, there will be some dynamic adjustment about the control measures. For example, ever since the new outbreak, the level of epidemic control around the examination sites and the organization and arrangement of the examination sites will be replanned. Please be reassured. All of those are in our plans, and we are dynamically adjusting the measures. Once the final plans are on the tables, we will publish them to the public. We must ensure that the epidemic control work will be implemented, and health comes first. Another concern is about the examination this Saturday. It's an English test taken online. It will remain unchanged. But as to the examination rooms and the epidemic control requirements, we're still doing the plans. Today, the plans have already been shared with different districts. So no matter what, the parents and the students right now staying at home, you don't have to be panic. In the recent days, there might be some readjustment. I especially want to thank the epidemic control departments and the health commission for their support in both municipal and district level. With their support, we can surely guarantee the quality of the online educational resources. When the overall plan has been accomplished, we will keep them open to the public. Now, this is the end of the Q&A session. The press conference for the Beijing Municipal Epidemic Prevention and Control has been completed. You could go to 首都之窗 and Beijing Daily, the Xinjing Daily, Beijing Youth Daily, and the Beijing Toutiao. People's.com, news agency, the China.com for more live show resources.